name's Jamie. I live in Saudi Arabia and I have a makeup collection that just keeps getting larger and is fairly obnoxious, so let's talk about it. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine a hellscape where someone is demanding that I get rid of palettes. Just point blank, they're like, get rid of some palettes. And what if I had to get rid of one palette from each brand that I own? Imagine like this scenario. So this is not a decluttering video. It could turn into this eventually. Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to get rid of these palettes necessarily, but a decluttering video is on the way. However, I don't think it's going to be very satisfying. And also, what is it with you people and decluttering videos? I posted one decluttering video like a month ago, and it has the most views of any video I've ever posted. Why? Why are you mean? Why are you trying to take away my makeup, okay? Like, mean, stop. But don't. But still, like, what are you all looking at? I do kind of like a soothing decluttering video, like going through the palettes, but I just like want to look at those palettes because then I want to go buy them. I don't know. So in any case, this is not a decluttering video. This is just like me imagining a hellscape scenario where I have to get rid of makeup, which right now I'm not gonna do. So if that interests you, please feel free to stick around and like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want me to do. Let me know what you think about what's going on. Anyway, let's get into the video. The first brand, so also I should mention, this is contingent on me having more than one palette from the brand. So if I have 2 palettes, I have to get rid of one. If I have 3 palettes, I have to get rid of one. So if I only have 1 palette from the brand, it's not gonna be included in this video at all. So the first brand, I'm gonna make it easy on myself. The first brand that we're gonna discuss is Morphe. Now, I only have 2 Morphe palettes, okay? And I have the Jaclyn Hill palette, the original collaboration palette with Morphe, and this is an old son of a gun. This is quite old. And then I also have 35C, which is cute. It's a cute palette. However, for me, the choice is easy. I've got to stick to Jaclyn Hill. This is gonna stay with me forever. I would declutter this one in a heartbeat. And I may declutter this one actually. So imagine like this palette thief is like, give me all your Morphe, or rather give me one of your Morphe. I would hand them this one. I'm not really going in any specific order either. I'm just kind of grabbing palettes that are tallest so I can start putting them back. So the next brand, I have 6 palettes from this brand. So this is BH Cosmetics. I have the Zodiac Love Signs palette, so this is what I'm wearing today. And this is a cute color story, for sure. And I have the just plain Zodiac palette from BH Cosmetics. Again, I like this color story. Then I have the Blueberry Muffin palette as well. This is a good palette. I also have the Passion in Paris palette as well. So these palettes are both very similar, which kind of makes me think, do I need both of them? I also have the Let That Go palette. To be honest, I don't use this one that much. And then I have the F Off palette, this one. So if I had to choose, I'm really torn between saying I would let this one go or this one. To me, I don't know. I'm stupid. Oh, I'm a dumbass. I should have used this palette in my Saint Chappelle video. I'm so stupid. God, sometimes I kill myself, I swear. This would have been a really good palette for that. Damn it. You know, these aren't too similar actually. Like, they have kind of a similar vibe, but they're not, I don't know. I think I still need both of them. I think if a thief needed to take one, they should take this one. I like the quality. It's not that. It's just, I don't really use this. I do like this Sage Stick and Good Karma shade, but those are replaceable. Like, those aren't wildly unique shades in my collection. So Moving on. Okay, the next brand. This may surprise you, but I really don't own that much ABH. And I'm lazy and I'm just gonna lump ABH in together with Norvina because I can, I think. So I have the Norvina Volume 5, which is not going anywhere. You couldn't pry this out of my cold, dead hands. I love this palette. This is a good palette, for sure. And this is one of the only palettes I've ever gotten for free. So, it's mine. You can't have it. I also have the Nouveau palette from ABH. This is nice. I wear this to work a lot. So you haven't seen me do anything with this one yet, but you will, shortly. This is the Rose Metals palette. It's okay. It's okay. No, I don't know. Both of these are too like similar in my brain, like not color story wise, but just like the vibe, the sense that I get from both of them. They're very, very like, this is what I wear to work. Pretty, nice, good quality, but what I wear to work, you know? Then as much as I would like to say that this is like something I would be willing to part with, it's not. This is Soft Glam 2, and I've actually used this with, like, for instance, duochromes as like the base for some duochromes, and it's worked out great. So you can't have it. This is the one that I think I would most likely give up if a thief were in my home. This is the Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2 from Norvina. It's just fine. I don't think it really has any special shades in it. I like the yellows, I like the greens. I'm a green hoe. You can't blame me, but also it's fine. It's only fine to me. It doesn't excite me that much. I think I'm keeping it mostly for the mattes. Like there isn't a special shimmer in there. Come on, come on. Okay, I think this is gonna be an easy one, to be honest. So the next brand is Juvia's Place. So probably my favorite palette of this bunch is the Wahala 2. I've used this recently. Hi, sweetie. Kitty is flirting with me. And I like it. I would continue to have it. You can't have it. It's mine. I have the Nubian 2. I'm not excited about any of these, to be very honest with you. However, I would never get rid of this palette. I love this palette. This is the Nomad, and it has such a weird, fun color story that it's mine, okay? It's mine. And I also, this is a weird one. This is the Festival by Juvia's Place, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't feel that drawn to any of these at all. Like, the formula, like the eyeshadow formula itself, to me, is a little bit outdated. Like, I think I have higher demands of makeup at this point. Like, I want more. I want something more interesting. Wahala 2 has it, as in there are some special shades, there's some different colors, like the color story is very cohesive. Sometimes I just look at Juvia's Place and I'm like, why would you put all these together? I don't understand. This is another one. This is an all matte palette. Why do we have this? I almost could literally declutter all of my Juvia's Place and I'd kind of be like, this is the Warrior. This is the Warrior, and I think actually this is really beautiful. Dahomey, look at that shade. That's real pretty. Okay. Shut me up, Juvia's Place. Okay, more so shut me up, the Warrior. I'll keep you. Then I have these mini palettes as well. I have the Nubian Coral. I've used this somewhat recently. I just don't have much to say about Juvia's Place, like, honestly. I do love this palette. I would definitely recommend buying this palette, so I would not get rid of it. It's a very good, like, light summer palette. This one does not function that well, so this is a contender for me handing over to the palette thief. This is also a good palette. I recommend this. This is the Rebel Honey. I haven't used it, to be fair. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. There's a lot I would get rid of. I think the clearest winner for me as the first one to go would be the nudes. It just doesn't, like, it's hard to work with. The quality is not that good. Like, Do you see this? Okay. That's what's on my finger. But like, that's how aggressively I had to go in, you know? And look how, come on, you know? Come on. I just have higher expectations of makeup at this point. Like, I'm not impressed by this. Stay tuned for a decluttering video. Heads up, Juvia's Place will be in it. Okay, even though these are both expired and it hurts me to say, I have two, technically three, but I have two Lunar Beauty palettes that I use for me. I have one Lunar Beauty that I'm not gonna show you because I'd have to dig it out and I don't want to. I have one palette in my kit. So I have the Greek Goddess palette and I have the Moon Spell palette, the original one. And I love this palette. This is absolutely one of my favorite palettes ever. I've worn it a ton. I would never get rid of this. I may never get rid of this. I think, look at the packaging. Look at that. Look at that. And as much as I like this, and it has kind of some different shades, and I think it was a bit ahead of its time, I would have to get rid of this one if a thief came into my home and demanded a Lunar Beauty palette from me. Okay, next up I have three palettes from this brand, and the brand is Melt. So I have the Gemini palette. It needs no introduction. I would never get rid of this thing. Nope. Never. Never, 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 never. Amor y Mariposa, I love this palette. This is beautiful and I need to get it out more. See, this is a good way to get out your palettes and just look at them and be like, oh, I need to use this. I need to use this. This is a great palette. So this Abuelita shade is so lit, I could die. Then the one that I would happily give up, because why? Part of me is like, why does the palette even exist? Is the She's in Parties palette. Okay, so it arrived broken to me, not once, but twice. So like that, do you see that? And well, that's fine and whatever. I really only use this palette with another palette that has more interesting shimmers. If I want to do like a very mauvey purpley look. And that is the only reason I ever get this out. I never do a cohesive look with this palette. To be honest, I think this palette is gonna go live at my boyfriend's. This is just spoilering my decluttering video, I swear. So yeah, She's in Parties. I don't know about her. We don't know about her. Okay, so next up is Urban Decay. I only have two palettes from Urban Decay, and I think it's obvious why I would only have two palettes from Urban Decay. So I have the Wild West palette and the Stoned Vibes palette, and this definitely I would keep. I love this palette. Everyone hates this palette. I love this palette. So as goes like duochromes and stuff, is it amazing? No. I think it's a solid attempt. Like, look at that blue. It's a good blue, okay? I think this was a really good attempt by Urban Decay to do something new, do something they were not used to. And I still really like this palette. I've still been known to wear this palette. So to say you must get rid of it, nope. I won't. And I still even like this Bloodstone shade. It's so cool. Like, here I am just swatching it. Like, look at that blue. It's a nice blue, okay? So this is going nowhere ever. This one could go. I bought this last year for White Friday. Half off for sure. And as much as I've tried to use it and I love the packaging for sure, it just doesn't last that well on me. It's kind of too neutral for me to think about. I'm just not excited by it. Sorry. It just doesn't do anything for me. That's new, that's fresh, that's innovative. And I think that's a big problem with Urban Decay, and like, I think that's a problem with Urban Decay in general. So, sorry. Okay, next up I have two curated palettes from Terra Moons, one in number 3, one in number 5. I think this, gosh, I can't remember which one's which. I want to say this one is number 3 and this one is number 5. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I would have to say the Thief could take this one, and this one I would keep, obviously, because there are multi-chromes in this one, and I really like this very electric yellow. So you can take this one, even though I love the green, he could take it. Okay, this is another easy choice for me, but not because I dislike the palette. I have two palettes from Adept. I have the Plain Jane Remastered, and I have the collaboration palette with Heather Austin. And as much as I think this is a beautiful color story, I would have to give The Thief this one, just because the Adept Plain Jane has so many duochromes that I could have this palette and one other palette and make tons of different looks. Not to say that I couldn't do it with this one either, but this one just gives me more, I can't, it's not a standalone palette. I totally get that. This is definitely a standalone palette, but these are the rules. I'm not saying it's comfortable for me. I'm saying more duochromes for me. Thanks. Okay, next up I have Huda Beauty. I have three palettes from Huda Beauty. I have the Mercury Retrograde palette. I have the Rose Quartz palette, and I have the Emerald Obsessions palette. So because this one's new, I'm not getting rid of it. Because this one is one of my favorite palettes ever, I'm not getting rid of it. I would, would you like to look at it? Would you like to see? So this is for me, this is mine. Thanks for playing. And I have more neutral feelings towards this very neutral palette, but it's new, I paid a lot for it, I should use it. This one, to be perfectly honest, is probably expired, and it's small. What are you doing? It's small. I still use it. I still really like it. I think it's super pretty. There's a lot of different directions that you can go in with just this palette, but I want the bigger palettes more, that's all. Next, I have Be Perfect. Now, I'm having a thing with Be Perfect. I'm having a blossoming love affair, you could say. And if you were to check with me later, you may find that the answer would be different about this. So I have three Be Perfect palettes at the moment. And let me tell you, I have this Antidote palette, which I will not ever give up. I love this palette. I love this palette. This is one of my favorite palettes ever, period. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. This is an amazing palette. And I haven't used all of it yet for sure, but it just, when I say this palette can flex, it can. It is so pigmented, so easy to work with. You can just put colors on colors and they blend together like they were just meant to. I love this palette. It's great. You couldn't take it from me if you tried. Likewise, my Manifest Dream Big palette, well, more clunky for sure. Like, look at this. It's kind of a cluster for sure. But do you see how messed up it is and how much I've used it? Do you see this? You couldn't take this from me if you tried. I dare you to try to take this from me. You can't. You can't do it. So therefore, because it's a rainbow palette, I think if a thief really wanted it, he could take this one. This is the Carnival All-Stars palette. And as much as I like it, the quality is great. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a rainbow palette. The quality is great. Do I use rainbow palettes that much? No. So that's my reasoning. But I wouldn't be happy about it. I'd be super mad. So, while this sounds like a lot, it's not what you think, okay? So I have 16 Colourpop palettes, more or less, but I have 3 quads and 1 5-pan, and then the rest are like 9 pans. It's not that bad, okay? It's not that bad. So I have 3 quads from they did like a Zodiac collection situation, I don't remember. And I got a pack of the earth signs, which, because I'm a Taurus. I have Never Taurus Apart, Like a Virgo, and Head Capricorn in Charge. I also I'm not really the biggest fan of the 5-pan situation. I don't know, like I get the idea, but I don't really like it. I have the Neon Gaze, and I've not really used this. Let's be serious. I haven't used it. I really haven't. I have the Child, which would go absolutely nowhere. No. I have the Mandalorian. This would go absolutely nowhere. I love this palette. I like these two palettes. So these two palettes are probably my favorite Colourpop palettes. Yeah, I think that's true. The Star Wars palette, I just got this, so you can't take it. And also, I like it too much. I have the Lust for Dusk palette. This is a good palette. You know, it's cute. It works. I have the Raw Beauty Christie collaboration palette, the At Forest Sight palette. This is nice. I need to use it more for sure. I wish I had more shimmers, if I'm gonna be real. Like, I understand her logic, but I wasn't able to get the Super Shocks. So I understand, but also I want more shimmers. I want more interesting shades. I have the Wanna Be palette. This is a fun palette. I do enjoy it. It's a good color story for sure. Very neutral. Nice warm neutral, good for summer. The Sprinkle a Little Magic Disney collaboration palette with Tinkerbell. It's cute. This is why I don't need that other BH palette. I have this one. You know what I mean? I have Grandeur, Ornate, and Baroque. This is Grandeur, oldie but goodie. Ornate, oldie but okay. And Baroque, oldie but okay. And I have C3PO, which we like very much. So, not to cop out, but I think that this could definitely be taken by a robber. Like a Virgo could be taken by a robber. And I want to say Ornate, this one, could be taken by a robber. Not that I want them to be taken by a robber, but if it had to happen, okay. Next up I have Odin's Eye. I have the Urt palette. This is really nice. I have the Saga of Freya Cat's Breath palette. These are fun, they come in a little storybook. I have the Saga of Freya, just the Saga of Freya palette, and this is a two-sided palette. So there's this side and like a green, yellow, brown situation over here. This is a good palette, for sure. I have the Alva palette. I need to use that. I have the Alva 2 palette. This is a good palette for sure. This is a very nice shade. It looks like, is it pressed glitter? I think it is pressed glitter. I don't know. I haven't used it in a while. I need to think about this. Then I have the Gila palette. This is brilliant, of course. Everybody loves this palette. And the Duo Multichromes in that palette, great. Like Angelica Nyqvist would say, yep, like that. And then I have the Norns palette as well. This is a good palette, very jewel toned, very, very fun to work with. This Optimism shade is, I'll show you. I have Optimism, which is not being done justice, I swear. Ugh, it's so good. I have Self. This is a great, great shade. I need to use this palette. Look how pretty that is. You can't even see how good this palette is. This is beautiful. It's between two that I would give up. And I think I've got to go with the Cat's Breath palette. There's a couple shades in here that are disappointing. So like this Wool Ball shade. Okay, this one right here. Let me swatch it for you and I'll show you what I mean. They just didn't quite have the formula down, I want to say. And when you go to put it on your eyes, first of all, like, yeah, where is it? Where is it? When you go to put it on your eyes, it's very, very flaky. And then this Cat Star shade, it just doesn't come off like anything. It's very dry. See what I mean? Like, it's just not that good. Like, where is it, you know? It's not that good. It's not that good. Sorry. Oh, so this is a big This is a big pile. So I have my Beauty Bay palettes. I recently did a ranking of my Beauty Bay palettes. So if you haven't seen that already, check that out. So I have all 5 of the Disney collaboration palettes with Beauty Bay. And I'm just gonna say, no, I don't want it. There, that's it, done, finito. If we kind of exclude those, then, so I have the Dumbo. If we kind of exclude those, I have the Dumbo one that I dislike, the Mad Hatter one, this is good, Bambi, okay, Jungle Book, pretty good. This is my favorite one, the Cheshire Cat, super cute. Of those 5, toss out Dumbo. Get out of here. I don't like you, get out. So, also, I never really liked that movie. Is that weird? I have the Berries palette. This is beautiful. We love her. I have the Earthy palette. We also love her very, very much. Very pretty. I have the Utopia and Pastel palettes. I got these in a set. These are great palettes to work with. Very good companion palettes. This one. This one. The Nikki Tutorials palette. This is kind of on the chopping block for me, just simply because the mattes are fairly difficult to work with. I don't know. The shimmers though. The shimmers. This is a great palette, even though the hell is this situation. And this I need to get out more. Good palettes, both. I think you know how I feel about them. I've done a video too recently to really conceal what I think. I had a ranking, definitely. I have the Age of Opulence palette, this one, and the Fiery 2.0. This is a great palette. If I haven't told you once, I've told you a million times, it is a good palette. And then the Jade Thirlwall palette. This is a good palette as well. So, I would never, ever, ever, ever get rid of these 2 palettes. Never in a million years. Nope. Never, ever, 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 ever. I think the one that I would probably give up is, if I had to, other than the Dumbo palette, Age of Opulence. It's disappointed me too many times and I am hurt. I'm hurt by it. So that's my logic there. Last one, if you feel like you need to avert your eyes, definitely do so now. I'm gonna be discussing Jeffree Star Cosmetics. So if you're not into that, you may exit the video. I'll see you later. Have a good day. Okay, if you're gone, there you go. All right, if you're still here, here we go. So I have 4 Jeffree Star palettes. I have the Mini Blood Sugar palette. I think you know. I think you already know what I'm gonna say. I have the Blood Money palette. I got this on super duper sale. And this is a beast of a palette. I love this palette. I need to use it more. I always am like this close to pulling it out, but just never get there. I never do quite get there. And then I have the Star Ranch palette. This is great quality, great to work with. I think it's a like wearable, easy color story. It's a good palette. And then I also love this palette. This is the Bloodlust palette. I love that palette. It's good. It's good. Okay. So easily, by my reaction, you can gauge that I would kick the shit out of this one. I'm over it with this one. I don't want it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but suffice to say, I do not want it in general. I just don't. All right, so that was all of my palettes, or rather, that was all of the palettes from each brand that I have more than one of, that if I had to get rid of one, I got rid of one, so there you have it. Oof. I rearranged, like, it was kind of nice. I got to pull all my palettes off the shelves and like go through them and look at them again, so that's always helpful. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you next time.